welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 11-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Large Sunday slate. Excited to get into it. Lots to break down. Before we do, quick reminder, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. That would be greatly appreciated. And then don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day, fan favorite segment. Nailed that again last time, going with Brad Miller. Got another bomb. So got another streak riding with those, looking to keep it going. And lastly, if you are interested in some further premium content, I would highly recommend my MLB DFS premium package. It's linked below in the description. You get access to all the same tools that I use when building my own MLB DFS lineups, as well as direct access to me, ask me questions directly via Patreon, whether it be in the Discord, direct message, etc. So let's go ahead and start breaking down this one today. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by K-rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts. And the top guy on the slate today is going to be Chris Archer taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Keep in mind, this is only a 6 innings pitch sample size on the season as far as his most recent outing and pitch count and all that fun stuff that we can be expecting from him. He's expected just to be the opener in this game. So last time he got up to 40 pitches. I'd expect it to be somewhat similar in this one. So his pitch count's going to be somewhat limited. He's 6'2" on DraftKings. Over on FanDuel, they've got him priced at 6'5". Not sure his leash is really going to be long enough to make him a viable play today. If you want to go there, you might be getting a little too cute. Tanner Houck, top guy on the slate that has a reasonable sample size with a 39 innings pitch sample size, and he does feature a 31.3% K overall with a 12.8 swinging strike rate, 37.2% K rate against righties, and a 25% K rate against lefties. So has been very, very good on the season, taking on a Cleveland squad tonight. That does not fear us too much. They strike out quite a bit as well. He's 6'7" on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at 8'1", so you get a big discount on FanDuel. And his last outing, he was able to get himself all the way up to 90 pitches. That's the most we've seen out of him for the most part on the season, right around 90 when he does really get a full start. And I'd expect him to be able to stick around a little bit longer now and get another full start in here taking on Cleveland. So as mentioned, you do get a nice friendly discount on him over on FanDuel rather than DraftKings. And 4.2 innings pitched over 6 Ks is pretty reasonable outing if you are paying that 6'7" price tag for Tanner Houck, looking for a reasonable outcome there. DraftKings, he's priced a little bit up too much for my liking. Dylan Cease taking on the Chicago Cubs, a team that's traded away a lot of their talent mid-season, and a team that we definitely have enjoyed targeting. He does feature a 30.2% K overall with a 14.4 swinging strike rate. That's top on the slate by a pretty large margin there. 29.4% K rate against righties and a 31% K rate against lefties. So Dylan Cease definitely does do a good job of striking hitters out, and he's definitely going to get a good matchup to do so tonight. If the weather holds up, it does look like we do have some weather concerns in Chicago. If we don't, I'm going to love this spot. The only problem is the pitching weather. It doesn't look the greatest, 91 degrees. 14-mile-an-hour winds blowing from right to left, it looks right now. Maybe that could straighten out a little bit and be more so towards, left field. If that's the case, of course, that's going to be a little bit scary. But I do think this Cubs team is going to be a great spot for him to get a bunch of strikeouts. He's 9'3" on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at 10K, top price guy on the slate. And I think for good reason. I think he's going to be one of the top guys for sure. And definitely a guy that I have a lot of interest in, and I'm definitely going to have a lot of interest in this next guy as well. And another guy as we go along here, because these are going to be the top matchups on the slate. Miami, definitely a great matchup as well for Molly with a 28.2% K overall, a 25.1% K rate against righties, and a 31.8% K rate against lefties. Has been very dominant, and the Miami Marlins lineup is not good, and he gets to pitch in Miami, which is one of the best pitching environments in baseball. So Tyler Molly, pulling up the chart here that I always like to show you guys as far as Miami's concerned, and Marlins Park, you can see a lot of red going on there for those hitters. So it's going to be a great opportunity to target him. He's 9'6" on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, he's priced at 9'8". And his last performance, he had 8 Ks over 5.2 innings pitched, 104 pitches. That's great stuff to get on a Milwaukee squad, and he gets an even better matchup here. So I think Molly's going to be a great option. And we can go ahead and skip right over to Jose Berrios because he's the next guy that has the very clear top matchup. I mean, when you think about it, there's going to be a very clear top 3 options for pitching on the slate. It's going to be Dylan Cease, Tyler Molly, and Jose Berrios, and for good reason. The Cubs, the Miami Marlins, and the Detroit Tigers are all teams we've been targeting for the latter half of the season. We're going to continue to target. He has a 25% K overall, a 24.4% K rate against righties, and a 25.8% K rate against lefties. Has struggled a lot more against lefties, but I mean, as I had mentioned, if there was ever a matchup he wanted, it's going to be this matchup. It looks like there's 12 mile-an-hour winds blowing in from right center. That should help him even more. In Detroit, they are a 167 favorite. He's 8-5 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at 9-1. And as far as his most recent performance, he took on the Chicago White Sox. He got blown up very easily, got pulled from the game very quickly. He only had 68 pitches. Maybe that lowers his ownership in this one. I believe there were some issues with the umpire in that game Toronto was not too happy with. And I think this is a great bounce back spot for him. So definitely going to have interest in Berrios. Ranger Suarez taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks could be an interesting option. He does have a 24.4% K overall. His ground ball, fly ball stuff has been tremendous to both sides of the plate. He features a 30.8% K rate to lefties, a 21.4% K rate to righties. And while he is not exactly an elite name that you hear about a lot, this could be a matchup that really matches up well for him. He's 6-8 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they have him priced at 6K. The only problem is the pitch count, and he was up to 99 pitches last time. I think we're starting to see his pitch count climb more and more. So if that's the case, look for him to keep it going. He's very cheap on this slate today. He's only 6K on DraftKings. He's only 6-8 on FanDuel. And he's looked really good, and he gets a really good matchup taking on Arizona, a team that doesn't really scare us. So you could definitely be looking at him. And once we get down past him, honestly, things aren't getting all that interesting for me today. Madison Bumgarner's been a lot better if you want to target him taking on Philly. Philly with left-handed pitching has been a thing all season long. Zach Greinke taking on Texas. He just really doesn't strike anyone out, but the Texas lineup has been absolutely dreadful. But then also the Texas lineup really isn't striking out very much. So do I think that Greinke could pitch deep into this game? Yes, but how many strikeouts is he going to have is a whole different question. And I just think there's so many more better matchups on the slate. Like, you're paying 9K for him on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, you're paying 9.3. Could he have a great performance? Yeah, I mean, he's had 7 strikeouts against the Los Angeles Angels, his most recent easy matchup, but they're strikeout happy. His last time against Texas, he had 4 Ks and 1 earned run, I believe. Yeah, over a 6 innings pitched. So, I mean, great performance in real life, but that's really not that great as far as a fantasy upside aspect is what I'm getting at here. I think you can target some other guys that can get up to around like 10 strikeouts today. Some of the guys we've talked about, if they're really on and they're really dialed in. So that's the pitching I'd be looking to on this slate today. And with that being said, let's go ahead and transition over to bats. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra. Skill interactive ERA. It's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been so far in the season and how good they're expected to be in the future. And the worst on the slate today is going to be Spencer Watkins taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Going to continue to pick on this Baltimore Orioles pitching staff because it is terrible. When looking at Spencer Watkins' numbers across the board, you can see a lot of red on my sheet. Not good. Only an 11% K rate to righties with a 6.14 slugging given up. Against lefties, a 4.05 slugging. It actually has been surprisingly a lot better against left-handed hitting. But overall, I'm just not scared to target this guy. I'm not scared of the Baltimore Orioles bullpen, and the Tampa Bay Rays have a very good lineup, and they're in Camden Yards. They get the guaranteed 9th inning at bat in a tremendous hitting environment. Baltimore continues to be one of my favorite ballparks to target in DFS. The home runs come early and often, and I'm definitely going to have interest in this Tampa Bay Rays squad tonight, as I'm sure many other people will. I'm sure that, or today I should say, we got day baseball, but, they're going to be very highly owned. I don't necessarily care. It's a very hard spot to ignore. Once they get past Spencer Watkins, the Baltimore Orioles bullpen's terrible. So you can stack this lineup 1 through 9. No issues with it whatsoever. Brandon Lau, Nelson Cruz, Wander Franco, Austin Meadows, Randy Arozarena, Joey Wendell, Yandy Diaz, Kevin Kiermaier, Mike Zunino. Love them all. My 2 favorite options would be Nelson Cruz and Randy Arozarena due to the splits that Watkins has displayed against righties. We know that they'll get the great matchup to start things off, and then they'll definitely get some great matchups out of the bullpen. So I like those 2 guys. Griffin Jack's taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. Hard contact stuff is terrible. A 571 slugging given up to righties. A 464 slugging given up to lefties. Very similar to who we just reviewed here at the top. Not good, and the Milwaukee Brewers are definitely going to be another team that we're going to want to target today. It looks like it's 75 degrees in Minnesota. Not the greatest, but there's 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight away center. That's going to help our case for sure. And, Jack's really bad too, both sides of the plate. It really doesn't matter to me which ones you're looking to target as far as the ballpark dynamics in Minnesota and which field plays better to which sided hitter. It definitely plays more friendly down the right field line to those left-handed pull hitters. But when you have a guy that's this bad, we can target all these guys. But, Christian Yelich obviously going to be a tremendous play in the 3 spot. Omar Narvaez, Roddy Tellez really likes targeting those lefties. Colton Wong, and then Willie Adames, Avisail Garcia to round out your stacks, as well as Luis Arias had some power. Love those guys. And you can round it out with Jace Peterson and Jackie Bradley Jr. as your salary relief option. So I think that this stack offers a little bit of everything. It's in a great environment to go off as well, because the Minnesota Twins bullpen is terrible. So both these teams that we reviewed at the top, definitely good options. Jesus Luzardo taking on the Cincinnati Reds is going to feature another great option, because he has not been good all season long. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. Gives up a 6.02 slugging to righties and a 5.57 slugging to lefties. Really going to enjoy targeting him with right-handed power, though, for sure. Cincinnati right-handed power is going to be in a tremendous spot here. The only knock on this stack would be the ballpark in Miami, not the most friendly, but maybe that lowers their ownership. And this Reds lineup has some guys that absolutely mash left-handed pitching. So India, Tyler Stevenson, Nick Castellanos, Kyle Farmer, Eugenio Suarez, Aristides Aquino. I'm going to like all those guys. Joey Votto is matchup-proof these days, so throw him in your stacks if you feel confident about it. Nika, and I'm really not going to like lefty on lefty, but if they can get him out of the game and get to the righties, then he will obviously have a chance to produce. And you can get him at some lower ownership. So the red stack's going to be definitely a viable one today. And we also have Will Crowe taking on the St. Louis Cardinals, who's also terrible. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's not good. He has a walk issue. He gets up a 581 slugging to righties, a 414 slugging to lefties. Really not good across the board. Is a lot worse to righties, similar to what we discussed with Spencer Watkins. But regardless, they're bad against both sides. And St. Louis in Pittsburgh, not the best hitting environment, but Pittsburgh Pirates bullpen does not scare us. Will Crowe does not scare us, and you can stack this lineup 1 through 8 once again, because there's really no holes in this lineup. Like some of these lineups, they get down to the bottom, they get pretty ugly. If my 6, 7, and 8 hitters are Dylan Carlson, Paul DeJong, and Harrison Bader, I'm doing pretty good. So I like this lineup 1 through 8 for sure. Definitely gonna like the right-handed power taking on Will Crowe. So Paul Goldschmidt, Tyler O'Neill, Nolan Arenado, Yadier Molina. All these guys are going to really stick out to me. It's going to be a mostly right-handed heavy lineup expected to be. But Goldschmidt, Nolan O'Neill, Arenado, that 2, 3, 4, of course, is going to be the prime time stack there. And then you can go down to the bottom, and Paul DeJong, Harrison Bader get some lower ownership. They're both righties that feature a lot of power as well. So I like the Cardinals stack today. And then once we get down past those pitchers, Kyle Hendricks has been a guy we really haven't been afraid to target all season long as well. He doesn't really scare us, and this could be a spot you can definitely target him again. A 441 slugging give up to righties, a 512 slugging give up to lefties, and he has to take on a Chicago White Sox team that's starting to get healthy. It looks like it's going to be a great hitting environment, especially if those winds straighten out. 91 degrees in Chicago. If this game is good to go and doesn't feature a rainout, I'm definitely going to have a lot of interest in the Chicago White Sox, up and down. Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, Jose Abreu, Eloy Jimenez, Yon Moncada, Yasmani Grandal, Cesar Hernandez, Andrew Vaughn, and Larry Garcia. Once again, if my 9 hitter is Larry Garcia, I'm not complaining. It's just a loaded lineup. When I'm stacking teams, I want teams that are capable of turning the lineup over. Each of their hitters getting 6 at-bats, maximize my upside. This is definitely a lineup that can do that. So that's why I bring that up a lot at the bottom of the order. It is important. So I definitely like targeting Kyle Hendricks, and the lefties are really going to stand out the most. But with the talent for these right-handed bats, no issues with it. Yon Moncada, Yasmani Grandal, and Cesar Hernandez could be a nice little mini left-handed stack if you wanted to go there. Josh Fleming taking on the Baltimore Orioles. His ground ball, fly ball stuff has been pretty good. And for that reason, I'm not getting too excited to target the Orioles today, unfortunately. Eric Fetty's just really not the greatest pitcher in the world at all. So he's taking on the New York Mets today. He gives up a 3.94 slugging to righties, a 4.44 slugging to lefties. He's not terrible, but he's not good. And typically speaking, it's the better lineups that can really get to him. And I think that the New York Mets are in a pretty good spot tonight. It's not the best hitting weather with today. I keep saying tonight. Today, day baseball. 76 degrees, though, with 6 mile winds blowing in, and it's in New York, which isn't the best hitting environment. Similar to the red stack that we discussed. Not the best hitting environment, but the spot's pretty good. So, Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, Javi Baez, Michael Conforto, J.D. Davis, Dom Smith, Thomas Nido. No issues. I mean, I would try to stick 1 to 7. Nito's not nearly as interesting to me as the 1 through 7, but even Dom Smith in the 7th spot has a bunch of power, so no issues with it going to them. I kind of skipped over the Blue Jays. Matthew Boyd expected to make a return here as far as him and his pitch count and all that stuff. He made his final rehab start in AAA. He went 4.1 innings, 56 pitches, so I'd expect something similar. In this matchup, Matthew Boyd, a guy that's pretty easy to break down. You want to target him with right-handed power. The Toronto Blue Jays definitely do have it. And if he's going to be limited on his pitch count, that means the Tigers bullpen should be featured early on. And that could be definitely friendly for the Blue Jays stack. So I just want to mention it. It does look like the 12 minor one's blowing in, so that's less than ideal. But the Blue Jays are going to be a viable stack. Didn't want to just skim over them without mentioning them. Eli Morgan has been really bad all season long. He's taking on the Boston Red Sox. We also have Madison Bumgarner and Taylor Hearn, both very similar in that they offer a lot of upside if you target them with right-handed power. So the Philly righties and the Houston righties, I mean, the Houston lineup's definitely going to be one that I'm looking to today because they're playing in Texas, which is a great hitting environment. Pulling up the diagram of Texas, you can see a lot of green going on in Globe Life Field. They're on the road. They get the guaranteed ninth inning at bat, and you can target Jose Altuve, Yulieski Gurriel, Carlos Correa, Alex Bregman, Jake Myers, Martin Maldonado. Love all of them, and then once Hearn gets out of the game, I have no issues targeting these lefties either with guys like Brantley, Alvarez, Tucker, because they may not even see Taylor Hearn that long. If they're able to get to him early, I have a feeling they could, and then he gets out of the game. And Boston, I'm also going to have interest in a lot as well. Terrible ground ball, fly ball stuff for Eli Morgan so far on his career with a 524 slugging him to righties, a 483 slugging him up to lefties. And he really doesn't walk many people, so that's great. The ball is going to be put in play early and often. It's going to be hit hard. It's going to be hit in the air. Everything kind of matches up for this Boston Red Sox stack today. Jarren Duran, Kyle Schwarber, JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, Alex Verdugo, Christian Vasquez, Travis Shaw, Jonathan Urias. Christian Vasquez would be my least favorite option of this stack with his power and stuff. I continue to say that on Boston, but I really think you can go 1 through 9 here. Jonathan Arias and Christian Vasquez aren't the most exciting plays at that stack. I would say they're the two, but when you're expected to have this lineup turn over as many times as they should if they really go off against Morgan, no issues with you targeting that today. And that's when things really start to not get so interesting. We do definitely have some heavy splits guys in, Tyler Mahle really struggles against right-handed power. So if there were ever a weakness for him in this Miami matchup, if you wanted to go to the righties that slug in Rojas, Aguilar, Jorge Alfaro, Brian Anderson, De La Cruz, Alex Jackson, you can get them very low owned. And then lastly, Jose Berrios and Tyler Magle both struggle against left-handed hitting. So the Detroit lefties, the Washington lefties, if you'd like to go to them, will definitely be great plays on this slate today. Specifically Tyler Magle, he's really bad against lefties. So, yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Before I let you go, though, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Randy Arozarena taking on Spencer Watkins, who has just been absolutely terrible against right-handed hitting all season long. Across the board, these numbers are embarrassingly bad for a major league pitcher. Only an 11% K rate overall to those righties, with a 416 WOBA given up and a 614 slugging, as well as a bunch of fly balls with a 42.5% fly ball rate. Going to cause some issues here. And then when you look at when he's relying on, very, very reliant on the fastball, goes to it 50% of the time, and on average, it's nothing to blow you away. You're looking at about a 90, 91 mile-an-hour fastball, and Randy Arozarena crushes that pitch. A 700 ISO with a 541 WOBA. In Camden Yards tonight, or during the day, we got some day baseball here, and great hitting weather, 83 degrees, great hitting ballpark, terrible Baltimore Orioles bullpen. Randy Arozarena should get plenty of opportunities in this matchup. Get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Randy Arozarena, get him in your lineups. I think you're definitely going to need him to put up a big score today because I have a feeling he's going to have a big game. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. That would be greatly appreciated. Wish you guys the best of luck today, and we will see you in the next one.